over, homie. Home is over, homie. Home is over, homie. Do the homie. Do the homie. Do the homie.
I felt like that was the only appropriate intro for them, so yeah. Metsuboujinrai.net, or Downfall Thunderclap, is a cyber-based antagonistic group led by your favorite purple scorpion, Hirobi. Their goal was to bring about the utter extinction of humanity through the will of Arc, but after the final human Gear debacle, they reformed as Monitors of Malice to prevent another Arc from reappearing. This eventually led to the formation of Kamen Rider Metsuboujinrai, a form we'll definitely talk about later in this video, and the group retaking a more antagonistic role in the process. Now, for the sake of this, let's do a quick history lesson for you. 12 years prior to the series, Satellite Arc, named after this dude, got data containing humans' greed and cruelty installed into its system by one Amatsuga. This caused Arc to gain both singularity and deem humanity worthy to get put on a t-shirt. As a result, Arc corrupted all of the Gear at that time, turning them on their humans in what is later known as the Daybreak Incident. Also, it didn't land, like it didn't go where it was supposed to do, as being a satellite, and crashed and caused a big explosion. So yeah, that happened too. In the midst of the rampage, Arc took 4 Gear, perfect for its cause, before being shut down by one Soreo Hidan. And yes, I actually do mean Aruto's Robo-Dad this time. By the time Korinosuke Hidan passed away, half of the group were reactivated in the ruins of the Daybreak Incident area, while the other half acted as sleeper agents in both Hidan Intelligence and Zaya Japan respectively. Their plan started in the corruption of Gear into Magia, using the data from the Zetsumarai's keys to revive Arc in the process. Later, the third member Raiden aids in the reactivation of the Satellite Arc, allowing for the creation of keys integral to later in the series. By the time the fourth and final member, Naki, has joined the team, their singularity combined was necessary to fully revive Arc in his mobile form. Upon realizing that they did a no-no by letting Arc run as rampant as it did, it took the Aruto sparing Hirobi in their final battle to make them change a new leaf. Their goal then was to make sure that Arc never reappeared again. But after the events of the recent Metsuboujinrai movie, they may have something else in mind. Now, since we're done here, let's start discussing the members and their roles within the group, and then we'll talk about their equipment. For the sake of not making this video too long, I won't go full detail about each member, but give you a brief overview of what they've done and their roles within the group. Hirobi serves as the leader and face of the group. He's the parent-type Gear, having Aruto's Robo-Dad Soreo as his base. Arc scooped him up and started the series with the initial plan of making Gears reach singularity in order to revive Arc. And it kind of makes sense, like a dad would be that guy who does that because he's like the most proactive of the four. Jin serves as Hirobi's right-hand man, being made by his father as an autonomous type Gear. This allowed Jin to run errands and missions while Hirobi was allowed to continue or start his machinations. Reaching singularity made him much more of a serious threat than initially, especially after his first return. In the Metsuboujinrai movie, he's revealed to be rebuilt as a combat type Gear, capable of some really wild stuff with the mass brain system. Ikazuchi, aka Uchiaro Raiden, is an astronaut type Gear who served as a sleeper agent monitoring satellite Zaya and possibly leaking data to Metsuboujinrai. His original purpose was to monitor Arc once it launched, but since that shit fell through, he was repurposed with new protocols, specifically the linking info part to the team. On his reawakening, he was integral to the reactivation, revival, and coincidentally, the death of Arc as he destroyed the satellite with his little brother. And finally, there's Naki, an engineer-type Gear that after the Daybreak Incident would serve Guy in Zaya Japan. They would give Guy intel and run some missions before being destroyed and their AI being placed on an AI chip on the head of one Isamu Fuwa. This happened after getting bodied by Hirobi the first time they fought. This allowed Naki to possess Fuwa's body at a later point in the series until eventually getting their own body, restating their loyalty in the process. Despite their roles, when all of them need to swap hands for the sake of their goals, excluding Jin at a later point in the series, they use the Metsuboujinrai Forceriser to do so. And of course, I'm going to explain what it does. This driver allows for a user to use an unauthorized progress key in conjunction with it in order to transform. This also applies to Zetsumarai's keys used in this process as well. And because of its inherent nature, it does not require a special access in order to use it, as we've seen both Humagear and a human use this driver. However, based on many specific functionality designs, it seems to be designed with Humagear in mind. The best examples of these are Jin and Ikazuchi, having their drivers forcibly attached to them and changing them in the process. In Jin's case, it turned off his empathy for his victims, while Ikazuchi's sleeper agent program was reactivated when he got his driver attached. The driver's transformation process does seem to cause a decent amount of pain for both human and Humagear respectively, despite it being created for the latter. This seems to be a case of different strokes for different folks, as when Aruto uses it, who's a human, it looks super painful to use. And even Jin's first transformation looked noticeably painful upon first glance, but his body would seem to overcome and be acclimated to it, so there's that. Hirobi shows no signs of pain when he transforms, but that's because he probably had his Forceriser post the Daybreak Town event. So when we see him transform in the series, it's technically not the first time he's done it. Now Ikazuchi and Naki are special because both show no signs of pain when they first transform, and I honestly don't know why. I theorize that it may have something to do with them using Zetsumarai's keys to transform instead of the standard unauthorized Progrise keys. But tell me what you guys think about that in the comment section. By the way, to transform, an authorized Progrise key or Zetsumarai's key is first activated, then inserted closed into the driver. Next, the user pulls the driver's trigger, the Force Executor, which forcefully opens the key. When using an unauthorized Progrise key, a colorless rider model appears to aid in the transformation. A rider model breaks into armor pieces after enveloping the user, then a set of cables attach the armor to the suit, completing the transformation. When using a Zetsumarai's key, a rider model will not appear, but instead, a powerful aura of energy envelops the user before the transformation is complete. And of course, when one wants to perform a finisher, the user simply pushes the Force Executor in and pulls it out again in order to kickstart the process. As obvious as this is, all 4 members of Metsuboujinrai has wielded one, with an extra person on that list being my guy Aruto. And of course, we are going to go over each one of them in order. Using the Sting Scorpion Progrise key, Hirobi's dope-ass purple form is accessible. In this form, he is very powerful, coming with durability so strong he can take finishers that would force others out of a transformation. He can also summon his rider model to aid him in both offensive and defensive maneuvers, and finally, the coolest part of his arsenal is his Acid Analyze. Located on his left arm, he can generate various types of poisons and toxins that can not only affect living organisms, but technology as well. These toxins affect the target from within, attacking the nervous system of targets to paralyze them or breaking down substances to a possible molecular level to properly destroy them. The Acid Analyze also functions as a coil to wrap or restrain targets, while it's versatile enough to be used with a punch or kick with devastating piercing power. Hirobi has 2 finishers in this form, Sting Dystopia and Sting Utopia respectively. Sting Dystopia sees the Acid Analyze attached to Hirobi's leg before delivering a powerful ass sidekick to the chest, while Sting Utopia sees Acid Analyze to grab a target, launching them towards Hirobi, who delivers a sidekick to the chest. Because of both his role and cognitive learning ability, Hirobi is the strongest member of the group. Instead of getting a new form, his learning ability allows him to study enemy fight patterns and adapt to them on his own, which makes his showings against both Shining Hopper and the more powerful Thouser that much more impressive. And this does not include his feats as Arc Scorpion either. When in conjunction of the Flying Falcon Progrise key, Jin's pink flight form can be accessible. This form not only comes with flight, but it also comes with mechanical wings called the Scrambler. These wings not only allow for flight, but allow a user to launch feather-like projectiles for range options. This form can also produce tendrils from the hands that can be used to install programs into items, especially Humagear. And when comparing this form to 01's Flying Falcon form, this one is a lot stronger. This form's finisher is Flying Utopia, which has Jin flipping into the air, then performing a flying kick radiating powerful magenta energy in the process. Jin's singularity, combined with his cognitive learning ability, made him strong enough to swap hands with assault-level opponents. And the fact that this doesn't include his feats as Burning Falcon is something we'll have to mention in another video, but he's ridiculous. Using the Dodo Zetsumarai's key, Ikazuchi gains a highly electrical red form. In this form, a user can release red tinted lightning to shock targets or enhance their physical attacks. and this form also comes with dual blades known as the Buraku Sabers, which comes from the Dodo Magia's data itself. This form comes with 2 finish, Zetsumetsu Dystopia, which sees Ikatsuchi using said sword to launch 2 red energy slashes at a target, and Zetsumetsu Utopia, which sees Ikatsuchi struck with red lightning before channeling it towards the target. In terms of strength, he could keep up with, albeit a fatigued, Shining Hopper, but was completely washed by Vulcan Assault Wolf, so he's above mid-tier, I would say. And finally, using the Japanese Wolf Zetsumarai's ki, Naki assumes the Icy Hacker form. This form gives a user enhanced hacking and electronic warfare abilities while having a pair of retractable claws perfect for highly agile features. Though not a true powerhouse, Naki is strong enough to hold off someone as strong as Thouser, so there's something to think about there. And this form's finisher is Zetsumetsu Dystopia, seeing a user rush a target with a flurry of rapid kicks, then followed by an even stronger final kick. And finally, the only non-Metsuboujinrai member to use one is Hiden Aruto, who used it in the Reiwa First Generation movie. Using the Rising Hopper Progress key, one can assume 001. This form is actually higher in 01's base form in terms of power, at the cost of being in extreme pain every time you use it, because you're not a human yet. Drawbacks aside, this form is capable enough to swap hands with opponents the base couldn't keep up with previously, as seen in the movie. And it comes with 2 finishers, Rising Dystopia and Rising Utopia. Rising Dystopia sees 001 pull a damn Kaioken as red and black electrical energy jolts throughout his body, followed by a red energy aura surrounding him, which allows a user to perform a series of high-speed combat and evasive maneuvers. While Rising Utopia sees 001 using said Kaioken lightning to overpower an opponent on a counterattack before leaping into the air for a green energy rider kick. Now that should be everything about the Forceriser, but if you feel like I missed anything, I'm pretty sure you'd let me know in the comment section, so go ahead and do that. I know you would though, so yeah. And I know some of you are probably wondering about me talking about the Cyclone Risers since they're kind of like inherently the same thing, but I won't do that here. I'll do that in another video. I promise. Now, post-series, after the altercation involving the CEO of Zaya Enterprises himself, the 4 Human Gear minds are united by way of the Metsuboujinrai driver and the mass brain Zetsumarai's ki. Now, before we go any further, I feel the need to state this so that we don't get any further confusion. At the time of this recording, only one of the Kamen Rider 01 other movies has been released, and as a result, most of the information you're gonna get from this point is only from that movie. If any of the information I state now changes as a result of the next movie, I will gladly make an add-on/correction video on it. Until then, let's stick to the stuff we figured out by watching this damn movie. This form comes by way of the Metsuboujinrai gang overriding the mass brain system of the Human Gear weapon Soul project. Because this system became centered around Jin aka Soul Zero after forcibly giving him the mass brain key, he was able to link the rest of the group to the system, and rather than enslaving the gang, an unused Hiden 01 driver repurposes itself to all 4 of them to fuse into one singular form. In terms of functionality, the driver functions just like the 02 driver, while there seems to be 2 versions of it that manifests itself when in use. Jin wears the physical version and holds the primary Zetsumarai's ki and will activate the physical aspect of the transformation, while in Mass Brain, the homies each obtain and activate a driver in unison. When the transformation is complete, all 4 Human Gear's bodies are rendered disabled, but in the process, their minds materialize their new combined form that they're all in. And this form is stupidly strong, as it casually defeated 8 opponents and a Kamen Rider in its introduction, who previously gave the strongest members of that group the work. And in terms of stupendous hand-to-hand combat skills and energy manipulation, it seems to show full control of the mass brain system, unlinking a group of solid Human Gear before they eventually just gave Zaya the beats. This form has 2 finishers, Mass Brain Impact and Metsuboujinrai Impact. Mass Brain Impact sees purple energy covering Metsuboujinrai's arm before using said arm to deliver a powerful punch to a target, while Metsuboujinrai Impact sees them performing a purple energy coated flying sidekick. This is most definitely powerful enough to body a person or to put him on a t-shirt. Now you would think like-minded people having the same body like Extreme W would be a good thing, and you aren't wrong for thinking that, but this is different for them. This form is extremely dangerous and uncontrollable, Because all 4 personalities combine into one, this allows the mass brain system to, in less words than what Leon said, create a personality based on their original purpose, a violent radicalist that wants to exterminate all for the prosperity of AI. So we'll have to see what that actually means in the second 01 movie. If you enjoyed this video, don't hesitate to give me a like, subscribe to the channel for more Kamen Rider Explain goodness in the comment section below. Let me know what your favorite parts of Metsuboujinrai is, so you can talk about the Forceriser, you can talk about your favorite characters from it, whatever you want to do. I mean, I don't know if this is obvious or not, but Hirobi's my favorite, so that means Scorpion is my favorite from there, but you know, since Autoto used it, I had to get it myself. Since this video beat out the second one in the poll, you already know the next video after this will be Zaya, and then after that, we could talk about Arc. Or I could probably take a break and do some form explains that I really need to do. We'll figure that out though. But considering the time for humanity's extinction has finally come, I'll just go ahead and let you enjoy the rest of your day. I'm Lambo Calrissian, reminding you guys to keep calm
Forceriser!
and Toku on.